Hello, welcome to the House of the Spirit. Welcome home. Today we're having a reading about the answer that you seek. So I would ask you to, first of all, focus on a subject, something that is worrying you or something that you want to have an answer for. So, pile number 1, we have Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Aries. Your card is Nefertiti. For the second pile, we have Leo, Taurus, Capricorn, and Aquarius. Your card is Seth. Okay. For the third pile, we have Libra, Scorpio, Cancer, and Virgo. Your card is Sphinx. Okay. I will give you a moment so that you focus on your specific question, so you can choose your pile according to the tarot deck, the card, or your zodiac sign, but also, of course, with your intuition. I will see you in your reading. Pile number 1. So your card is Nefertiti. And Nefertiti is about, it's a female energy, but to me this is feeling more like it's about you. There's something about yourself, something very specific to you, something about your personality, even your ego or how you express yourself. Okay, so the answer that you seek for pile number 1, we have more. There's something here. Yeah. Okay. We have court person, military person, and theft. Interesting. When I looked at the cards, I immediately thought of identity theft. And it's interesting that these cards, I see that there's a pattern here. There's a pattern in these cards that I think I need to kind of crack, like a code or something. Because both of these, they have the crescent moon. It's actually waning. Or it's being eclipsed. Maybe that's the pattern. Maybe there's something here about the eclipse, or about an eclipse. I'm not sure we are in eclipse season right now. I don't think so. But whenever you're getting this reading, there's something here very powerful related to an eclipse. I'm trying to see what else is coming forward, because I think that they all have something in common. It feels like it's the same. It might be the same person. So the court person, the military person, and the person who is stealing might be the same person. So it looks like it's a person that people can usually trust, but somehow that person turns into something darker, or has a different aspect to them that is not obvious, that is kind of cloaked or shrouded, or stolen from somebody else. Very mysterious. Okay, so the answers that you seek. What is this story about? What is this story about? What do we need to know? What else? We have Venus in Gemini with flattery. Sun in Aries with assertion. Mercury in Sagittarius with discovery. Mars in Taurus with defense. Defense, like defense in court, like defending yourself in court, or someone defends themselves. And Moon in Aquarius with independence. There's something here about the patterns of the moon, and if there's an eclipse with the moon in Aquarius, I would say that that's the main energy here. And I feel like this is something that you are not attached emotionally. It's something that's quite objective. It's something very either material or legal or something like that. And I don't feel like I'm too involved emotionally, which is strange. So maybe you are involved in something that is affected by some sort of authority or a law or a lawmaker or an organization that has the power to intervene. So you're affected, you're in a situation where you are affected by this, or you are also a part of that organization and you're working with it. Let's see, like the more spiritual dimension to this. The answers that you seek. So we have waters with spirit helpers, abundance, forgiveness, and flow. Transmission with experience. Sorry about that. Ooh, it's hard to focus. Transmission with experience, mastery, brain power, and telepathy. Initiation with tradition, death and resurrection, spiritual medicine. And perfume. Instinct, camouflage, sublime liberation. So it's like you have, now I see a different aspect of this. Like showing yourself too much is not beneficial in this situation. So to me, the theft is more like the omission of something, like choosing not to speak about something because you need to, it's like you need things to be very precise, and you can't risk things that are not appropriate being discovered or being seen, or maybe people will misinterpret them and they will use them against you, because you need to defend. There's this sense of kind of needing to defend yourself and needing to be independent. So there's a boundary, there's a very strong boundary. I feel like very strong ego boundary. So it's either something that is very well defined, like an organization, or you have a role that's very clear, and it needs to be very clear so that others understand who you are, how to address you, how to approach you in order for things to work. But what I see here is the need to cloak a part of something, or cloak a part of yourself, to hide yourself a little bit so that things are correct, so that people don't distort your intention or your role, so that they don't misuse your own power. Like it's like when you are in a position of authority and power, and people approach you because they're interested in using your influence to advance their own agenda. And sometimes you need to kind of play down your own power so that they don't abuse it. So if you are not constantly exposing certain aspects, it's better in this case, because people will not have the attraction, like it won't attract the wrong intention. I wouldn't even say that like people who approach you with this in their mind are evil. They're just trying to do their best, right? And sometimes it's better when certain private or more like smaller agendas don't have the the space to grow or the power to grow, because sometimes some people have a very wide perspective. They can have a very wide perspective, so they're not emotionally involved, and they can make choices that are more neutral and might be better for the collective. That's how I'm feeling. Like there's a lot of like Aquarian, like that distancing, that emotional distance that sometimes Aquarius people can exude, at least in my experience, is also because they have this wider approach. They have this wider vision. So they can, it's like they distribute their love and attention more widely That's why sometimes one-on-one they can be a little bit more distant. They can feel a little bit colder. Let's see, like more specifically, if there's any clues about this very, very strong boundary that you need to attend to, because it's also ultimately something that kind of, it frees you, it liberates you so that you can like have continuity, have this sense of continuity, of what comes next, of also helping others. Helping others. There's also this kind of energy of like throwing a blessing out into the world, like, but in a way that's very disinterested, like you know, this is a kind gesture, but it's so neutral, and it's the opposite of ego-driven decision. I don't feel it like a sacrifice. It's just not drawing attention to yourself. This is it's a very strange energy. So I'm sorry if it's not resonating, or if I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to describe what I'm seeing, because it's also quite distant. So it's hard for me to picture. Whoa. Justice. Well, I do feel like I am talking to people who are involved in justice, court system, legal system. I feel like I'm talking to you, to people who know the justice system really well, or they're working with it. They had to use it to their own benefit to understand things, how things work. Death. Wow. Page of Wands. It can even be something that you're really passionate about, like some sort of activism related to justice, like being an advocate or a lawyer for like a group of people that can't really defend themselves, or interesting. The Queen of Swords. Powerful. Like, I feel like I'm talking to a very powerful person. Like a person that has the authority to make really strong decisions that affect a lot of people. Six of Wands. Wow. I do feel like this is a role that it's really make or break. It can make or break someone or a group of people. The Queen of Wands. Two queens. But I do feel like I am still talking about the same person, Nefertiti. It's like it's all about you. It's all about how you have this regal energy, this authority, this power. And it's a quite, it's a worldly power. It's also spiritual. It's based in divinity. but it's also very practical. So the answer to your question, 2 of Wands, making a choice. 3 of Cups, for truth. So if this is sounding really strange and you only need one answer, I would say that you have to make a hard choice, and whatever it is, you have to choose truth. You have to choose justice and truth, authenticity. It's like there are higher values here, and you need to access that part. You need to access this kind of energy, this kind of authority, kind of detached, a little bit cold sometimes. But when you feel like that coldness, that might be the best time to make that decision, because you're not emotionally shaken by anything. And it actually will propel you into action. It will make, things better. The Hanged Man. Okay. The Hanged Man means that you might have to sacrifice something, and that sacrifice is for the higher good. So that would be the very short answer to your question. The answer that you seek: to make a sacrifice for the greater good, to always seek truth and justice, to focus on authenticity, and to practice a little bit of detachment, emotional detachment. There's this discipline, this order that needs to be like exercised, this authority also. And to protect the tender parts of yourself, to protect also to protect the others that are weak, that are weaker, that are more vulnerable, and also do the same with your own experience. So the parts that are softer, that need a little bit of tenderness, they might not be the most appropriate for this situation. That's interesting. The Hierophant. The 4 of Wands. The 7 of Wands. I think that this is about empowering you to face adversity, whatever it may be. The Wheel of Fortune. The Fool. And the Devil. And I think that this is like this little story, like at the end, is telling me that there's a lot that you don't know yet that can happen, and it's like it's time for you to get acquainted with certain realities that need a little bit of detachment, especially emotional detachment, so that you can be better prepared for the future. And authenticity and truth should be your North Star, always. It will also help you find good guidance, even patronage, protection from others, who are more powerful, more knowledgeable. I feel like this is a process that also considers hierarchy, considers that there's hierarchy here. It's like this story needs hierarchy. So maybe this is about, it's like the military or some other professions that have very defined stages from apprentice to master. And you need to follow those steps so that you feel empowered, so that you feel like, okay, I'm making progress, I am doing the right thing, and I'm finding the right teachers, the right, even the right employers, or, you know, if this is more career, related to career, it's possible. But I feel like you're growing into someone who is kind of bulletproof, who is making yourself into, I would like to put this in one word so that I don't ramble. So I meant resilient. So the answer to your question would be become powerful, become resilient, understand the pitfalls and the vulnerabilities very well in order for you to avoid the devil you don't know. So the worst thing that could happen, or the mistakes, and also avoiding submission to authorities that are not legitimate. Because the devil needs us to submit to him. He doesn't really force us to do anything. There's a part of us that chooses this submission. So, but with the Fool here, it means that you're not aware of this mistake yet, let's say, and you can avoid it completely by following the path of truth and justice always, faithfully. And also agreeing or making a compromise, like signing a deal with the right person that can protect you also from this. So if this is a legal thing, it might also indicate you like acting preemptively and doing something ahead of time so that you can avoid future mistakes. Interesting. Thank you so much for this. If you also enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope to see you again very soon. Bye. Pile number 2. Your card is Seth. And Seth is possibly about an external energy. So maybe an influence in your life. And it seems like it's not a very positive one. But let's see what the context of this is. So the answer to your question. What is the answer that you seek? Pile number 2. What is the answer that you seek? You have his thoughts. Rich, good gentleman. Theft. And expectation. Okay. What else do we have for pile number 2? So we have love, childlike innocence, play, honesty, and essence. We have border with castaway, separation, depth, relief, observation. Smoke with purification, union, community, and protection. And also healing with transformation, rebirth, confrontation, and emptiness. So what is the answer, or the answers for pile number 2? The answers that you seek. What are the answers? Okay. We have Mars in Sagittarius with domination. Venus in Virgo with discrimination. Venus in Cancer with birth. Mercury in Aquarius with originality. And Mars in Libra with choice. It seems like this is it's like a story. It's something that may have been going on for a long time, maybe even since birth. It's about how someone considers you, how someone sees you. Something about your childhood, I feel like. It's like there's an evil influence that comes from your childhood. And I think that it somehow is a part of what's happening now. And I don't want to sound really like ominous and strange or like too negative by saying that this is an energy that has been with you ever since you were born. It doesn't have anything to do with who you are, with your essence. It's outside of you. This is external influence. This is like someone envying you, someone trying to interfere with you, someone trying to change things. And I think that you have the protection. You have the spiritual protection because of being a part of something that's pure, something specific. But there's also like the need to do something original. Like, so this part of the reading has to do with the choice that you have to make. With what I believe, what I feel like is in your power and has to do exclusively with your own energy, and like leaves that energy behind, that interference. And when I see the theft here, I see like someone is trying to steal your energy, or to steal a part of you, or to own a part of you that is not for them to access. They're not entitled to that. But also, the expectation card is about that moment, of waiting, that moment of looking to see what is going to happen, but things are not yet quite solid. Things are not yet apparent. They're not understood yet. And I feel like this picture is actually evoking a different story here, because to me this is a city, and these are buildings from the same neighborhood or city, and there's this person who is used to kind of going in and out because they go through the roof, and they don't ask people to get in. They're not, ringing the doorbell. They're doing things in a way that kind of disrupts people's boundaries. And you know that this happens. So you're kind of guarded, and you want to see what's going to manifest first before you get out. This it limits you. So because you saw this person operate, because you saw how things happen when this person is present, you are now kind of limiting your own legs. It's like the pain that you suffered because of witnessing this. It's so abstract because you were so small that you didn't even connect the heart to the mind. So the body just froze. It kind of makes you also kind of invisible in a way. It hides a part of you that is supposed to be outside, and it makes it internal somehow, hidden somehow. And it all happens because of how someone perceives you, how someone else sees you. And it seems to me like it's limiting your access to your own resources. So I feel like the answer for now is that you need some sort of confirmation. You need some sort of confirmation. Okay. The answers, pile number 2, 6. Okay, 9 of Pentacles. 9 of Swords. Ace of Pentacles, sorry. Justice. Six of Wands, and the Chariot. So the answer would be that it's your choice that determines how this thing goes forward. It seems like you have power. You have the power to change things completely. You have the power to make things right. There's also a sense of urgency here because this energy is not, it's like it's not playing, you know, it's a very serious energy, and it's not humorous, it's not light, it's not bearable. It requires a rebirth. It requires transforming. It can only go this way. It can only be transformed. And I guess that you weren't really aware that you were the one that had that power to transform it. So it's like somehow the roles are reversed. Somehow you expected the other person to be the one who changes things, but actually you are the one that changes things. So this might be also an answer for your question, is that if you think that the other person has the power, it's the reverse. Because maybe that's also what is creating that energy, is that feeling of powerlessness, that feeling of like the lack of self-esteem, the lack of energy, the lack of positivity. It's like that person doesn't have the right incentives. They don't have the right footing. And you have to stop limiting your own potential, to stop limiting your own movements so that you move forward and you make decisions and you engage with things that transform this. So you're not afraid to use all the mechanisms and all the different tools and resources that you have to transform this situation into something better, even if you think that you are interfering with someone else's life, because maybe that's the best way. Maybe you do need to be the one, like it's not that you are like a tyrant and that you are submitting the other person. It's actually the reverse that I feel. It's like you expressing your dominant characteristics related to a certain situation. Like, I have more knowledge on this. I can actually do this. I can create this. If you express those creative abilities, you are also showing the other person that it's a natural authority. It's not that you are submitting the other person. It's that your domination is also liberating them from having to be that. Maybe that person is really not comfortable with that role, and they're kind of fighting everyone because they don't want to be there. And although they might not admit that to themselves because maybe they're not as mature as you, the Eight of Pentacles. the Hermit. Wow. Temperance. This is healing. So I do feel like you're incredibly skilled in healing things, and that other person is not as much. And the answer is you. So the answer is you are the healer. You are the one who is more skilled in this. And oh, so I do think that you think that the situation is about, for instance, like you think that this situation is about money, but actually it's completely emotional. Or the reverse. Maybe you think that this is a very, like that the other person feels like there's an injustice, or that feels like they are mistreated somehow, but actually they have money issues and they're kind of projecting them onto an emotional situation. So there's this kind of mirror thing, distorted thing that is also happening, and maybe you are the only one who can clear it up, because you're doing things that is like I'm not listening to you, I'm not engaging with that theme, I'm going straight to the heart of the matter, and I am moving on. And that is like taking charge, is really pushing things into transforming and to healing. So the answer is also partially in this change of perspective, like observing things from a different angle just makes it clearer, because I do think that the other person is kind of projecting, and it's their thoughts are distorted. Their thoughts are distorting everything. They're creating more chaos and more confusion. The Princess of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the Ace of Wands. So I do feel like there's this introverted, this borderland. I don't know if any of you know what it is. Borderland personality. It's not borderline, okay? Don't confuse with borderline. And it's borderland, and I forget the name of the psychologist, but it's a concept that's very interesting, and that I was quite interested in a few years back. And the borderland personality is very different, and if you're curious, just go check it out. And these are people who feel like constantly on the border of society, and they're always like looking at society as something other, as something that's not made of the same thing that they're made of, like humans, like people. And these people claim that they feel this incredible empathy with nature and animals, and it's when you read about it, it's really interesting and quite deep. It's not just like being like an eco warrior or something like that. It goes way beyond that, and it has an impact on the personality and on how the person like decide the life choices that are appropriate for that person. And I don't know why I felt like that, because when I see the Princess of Pentacles and this border card here, I do feel like this person is quite different, or there's an aspect here that has to do with some sort of awkwardness, like social awkwardness, it's hard. So it's like that person has created a lot of coping mechanisms and a lot of defense systems and a lot of different like ways of protecting something that was important. And somehow that ended up also creating like a sort of a monstrous energy. And I don't mean like that person is a monster at all. It just ended up creating like, it's like if you love a tree so much, you can end up like demonizing, for instance, chainsaws, or people who need, like a carpenter, or people who need wood. So they need to chop trees to make things out of wood, for instance. Like, so if you start demonizing like people who do crafts with wood, or I think like it's like that. So it's like very extreme, but it's also kind of not really understanding all the little details that lead human life. How can I explain this? It's like if you chop one tree, specific tree, it can just, be benefits for so many people, and it can also help other people plant more trees, for instance. So sometimes we see a lot of evil in one action, but we may fail to see the complete picture, and how that action that seems really evil can also be a benefit. I really feel like this person has some sort of cognitive issue, or they feel like it's imprisoned, and they might kind of blame others or situations for not protecting them, not allowing them to be in their little world, in the little bubble, and this can be a vulnerability or a fragility. It doesn't need to be something evil. And I feel like actually this person has a lot of difficulty with themselves, like with the self-esteem, with they're very cruel in their own mind, in their own mental processes. So whatever you decide, so to kind of summarize this and to cut to the chase, whatever you decide is going to move things forward, and it's going to be positive, because you are the one who brings the knowledge and the skill and the know-how and the interaction with the outside and the movement in the situation. I do feel like the other person is just stuck. So you are the answer. More of you, more of your actions, more of your communication, more of how you present yourself, more about you is the answer. You are the healing power. Your actions, your movement, your will, your passion, your drive, your choices. Okay, that's interesting. You're a very powerful healing force in whatever you choose to express yourself. Beautiful reading. Thank you so much for this. If you also enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope to see you again very soon. Bye. Pile number 3. Your card is the Sphinx. And in this case, the Sphinx, as an answer to your question, is kind of, how do I say this? It wants to question you. So if you have a question and you're seeking answers, maybe the answer is also a question. And it might be, for instance, do you really know what you want from this situation? Do you really know all about this situation? What does it mean? So it's kind of daunting because it's more questions, and it might be a little bit annoying, but this is just the beginning of the reading. So let's see. The answer you seek. Okay. We have bereavement. Expectation. Hope, big water. And theft. It's interesting that theft came out in all of the readings. So if you are particularly drawn to this card, I would say to check the other readings and see if there are any other ideas that might resonate. Okay. The answer that you are seeking. Okay. I think that the answer that you're seeking might be hiding. Something is hiding from you. Cosmos, globalization, playfulness, the self, and spontaneity. Love, childlike innocence, play, honesty, and essence. And finally, mutation, sudden change, authenticity, justice, ego, death. Okay. What else for pile number 3? For the answer they are seeking. Okay, a lot of cards. So the first card is Jupiter in Pisces with seduction. Moon in Aries with assertion. Mercury in Aries with restlessness. Mercury in Pisces with inspiration. Mercury in Capricorn with organization. This is a lot of Mercury. Communication here. It's like a tower of communication. It's a tower, like a cell phone tower, or an institution. Okay. So, Sun in Cancer with resourcefulness. And finally, Saturn in Capricorn with riches. So I feel like there's this feeling of loss, the feeling of not having access to something anymore. And then on the reverse side here, the other side of the tower, let's say, there's the resources and the riches. So there might be the need to communicate with a lot of people, different people maybe. And globalization to me is also referring to technology and the use of ways of communicating that are, they can cross borders, they can cross, time zones, and it's interesting. Something might be about the internet, so the online community, because there's so much communication and so wide, the range is so wide. It's like you have a lot of resources, you have a lot of possibilities that you need to explore. But there's also this sense of coming back to the beginning of a cycle. Like you think you've lost something and then you go search for it. You talk to a lot of people, you go like out on an adventure, you speak to people that are so different from you, you go far away, and then you return home and you realize that it was there all along. There's this feeling of lost and found also. Okay, so let's see for, whoa, King of Pentacles. Okay, the cards have their own order. The Wheel of Fortune, the Strength card, the High Priestess, the Star, and the Two of Swords. Sorry about that. Okay, I think I get it. So that feeling of coming back to the beginning, of your own resources, to me, it's about your spiritual, so the way you live spirituality, the way you believe, your faith, your faith is the answer. Your faith is the answer. The Fool. Back to the beginning. Alpha and Omega. The beginning and the end. The end is the beginning. The beginning is the end. There's this sense of closing cycles. I feel like this is not a really specific answer. It's like when I saw the Sphinx, I was redirected immediately, of course, because the Sphinx is more questions. So the answer to your question is more questions. So maybe ask more questions, continue to inquire, speak to more people. You need to know more. And also, because of your adventure, going out into the world, asking other people, speaking to other people, getting their opinions, getting their feedback, and listening to them will, I think, give you the answer that you seek, because you will find it in yourself. It's like once you have that vision of how the outside of you can be, you see that the answer was inside all along. You just didn't really have the the focus on it. The focus was on the outside. So you have to let that focus run its course, that curiosity, because I think you're curious about something and you're not satisfying that curiosity. So this tower here is telling me to go and get that inspiration, go and get that information, speak to people, speak to organizations, clear your doubts, explore as much as you can so that you can take that leap of faith with your own spirituality very well grounded, because you will understand something about yourself that you're not seeing right now, that is clouded because you haven't explored enough. Four of Cups. Knight of Swords. Ten of Cups. But I think that in the end, you're going to have to be bold and take a leap of faith here, because you'll have to move forward without all of the information that you want, but with the certainty that you are going to find friends, that you're going to find your kind, you're going to find your kin and your fellow, the kindred spirits, and also you're going to come into a more of a sharing mode, of a generous, open, because maybe now you feel like you're something's being stolen, or something is not quite right, like things are misplaced. Nine of Wands. The Tower. And the Ace of Pentacles. Because I think that you sense that there's, or you are going to sense that there's danger, and you're going to have this intuition to do the right thing, to pivot, and it might look like a change, in the last minute change, or you had plans and you have to change them last minute, but it's going to lead you to success. It's all for your benefit. It's all going to happen for your benefit, and you're going to have to be brave to make a shift. So the answer is to communicate, listen to other people's opinions, listen to as much as you can, gather all the information that you can about the situation, and ultimately your intuition and your spiritual guidance is going to lead the rest of the way. And you will think that there may be times when you think that you don't, that something is not in the rightful place, and you decide to shift, and you decide to change. No, this isn't right, I'm changing this, and you are led to success. So the answer is that, yeah, that it will take like seconds or minutes to change this. It will make all the difference, but right now you have to ask more questions. So if you have one question, ask more and more and more. Just keep asking all the questions. You are being led to success. Have that faith, have that hope in the future. Maintain that connection, because it is the thing that is leading you. And you have the correct sense of danger, the correct intuition. Trust your gut, trust your feelings, your hunches. Very interesting. I was going to end the reading, but then I was drawn to something here. And it is about this dragon here. This red dragon. I feel like a part of this answer is also that you haven't seen the real danger yet. You are yet unaware of the real danger, of the real threat to what you are doing. So keep asking, keep inquiring, keep, experiencing and talking to people and listening carefully. Because I think that you're not yet in that moment where you are completely aware of the real danger, of the real threat, of the real priority shift. You're not there yet. Okay, so if it's so quick and if it's something so drastic, because it's the Tower here, when is it going to be? Temperance. I guess this is really indicative of patience, of things taking their time and not rushing anything. Don't rush into anything. Don't just make a decision and without consideration. Take careful consideration. Wait for spirit to talk to you. Wait for the guidance. And I think that everything that you are worrying about will be solved in 30 days, more or less. So a month. If it's just you being calmer and being more sure of yourself and more confident in your intuition and in your path, I believe that this month is going to be a little bit shaky. Like I change one thing and then no, it's not that. I go back and there's a lot of back and forth during 30 days and then things go smoother after that. If it's one specific theme that you just want to have closure on, I do think that 30 days is the timing. But don't rush the process. I don't think rushing it will advance anything or help this, because there's a lot of information to process and you need time to digest it. Give yourself time to digest the information, okay? Beautiful reading. Thank you so much for this. If you also enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope to see you again very soon. Bye.